Hello chums, this is my Space Wolf Oddballs inspired video. I'm not quite sure if that's a good thing or a bad, but we're gonna go forward with it anyway and see what happens. So this is the hobby area that I've currently got set up in my new place. It probably, or maybe it looks a little fancy, but there's a reason for that. That is actually a family heirloom antique desk, which has sat in all of the finest living spaces of all the finest members of the Burnett family. I'm joking. It is a decent desk that I got from an aunt, but it was unfortunately damaged during the move. So until I get round to refinishing it, it's going to serve as my hobby desk, which is perfectly fine with me because it's about twice the size of the one I had in the old place. Then on either side, I've just got my reference materials and various other boxes, a few books. Oh yeah, lots of hobby goodness. Down here I've got some reference materials as well as graphic novels. This is the paint caddy that I've been using. It's some sort of sewing kit or something, and it works okay. It's not exactly what I want. I really want all the pots up on shelves within arm's length, but just currently that's not an option. And then over here I've got just some overflow stuff, a little bin, a little basket that I keep various things in. So yeah, it's pretty empty looking currently. I've only sat here at the desk for two different times now, so I haven't had a lot of time to get it junked up yet. But I'm sure that's just a matter of time. So that's an overview of what I've got so far. Eventually, this is going to be moved, or at least my area is going to be moved. I don't know if the desk will move or if it'll be some other table, but I actually want to put it, make this my area. It'll also double for my boy when he gets to, drawing and painting or scribbling or whatever. That'll be at the same table here at the same place. I like this spot because it's got lots of natural light as well as a pretty good overhead light. So I think this would serve pretty well. Okay, so here's my Dark Angels Rhino that I've completed now. I've unpacked my pigments and all, and added rust effects to the stacks, and applied mud around the wheels and tracks. I wanted to try and give it kind of a caked on dried mud look, without being too outrageous. I'm pretty happy with the way it turned out. Sort of I guess a medium amount of mudding has gone on. The mud was made with, well, the first thing I did was I took 3 or 4 different earth colored pigments and scrubbed around, basically all over the bottom of the vehicle, tracks, wheels, what have you, to give a little depth of color, or try to at least. And then the actual mud was made just with baking soda and paint. I used a sort of a muddy color, I don't remember which, Baylor brown I think it was, GW color, and just baking soda mixed, and then put on with a nasty brush. Then I went back and added some metal highlights to the raised edges on the tracks. At first I tried an old trick from building scale models using graphite to give the metal sheen to it, which works pretty well, and I've used a lot of times for all sorts of different things. But then I went back, after it was all finished, I went back and sprayed varnish over the Rhino, because I plan on gaming with this thing and I wanted to kind of hold the pigment and all in place, and the varnish really washed out the effect of the graphite I had put on. And so then I just went back and dry brushed with whatever the name of the color is, the new bolt gunmetal, whatever the name of that is. So that's the Rhino. Overall, I'm pretty happy with it. Pleased with the way it turned out. I like the weathering effects that I've done to it. I think it does a pretty good job of showing being in use, but at the same time without being overwhelming. So the next thing on my agenda is another Dark Angel Tactical Squad. You can never have too many tactical Marines, in my opinion. These are actually from the Assault on Black Reach 5th edition starter kit. I got these off of eBay for cheap. So I'm gonna paint these up. I want to try to get this 10-man squad done this week. So I'm doing a small batch painting. I'm doing them 3 at a time. I know a lot of guys will paint 20 at a time or however many they have, but I can't do that. I get bored and have to do something else, and I wind up putting them down and not picking them up forever. So I found that for me, if I do about 3 at a time, I can usually stick with it. So that's these. So far they've just been primed, of course, and base coated with Caliban green, and then a Nuln oil wash. Next step will be I'll go back with Caliban green again and highlight everything except for the recesses, the corners and recesses. Then I'll do a second highlight with Warpstone Glow. I don't really particularly care for the GW style of edge highlighting. I know that's the way most Space Marines are painted, and if done properly, I think it looks okay, but I don't really care for it, quite frankly, and I don't consider myself to be any sort of expert painter. And if I do edge highlighting, I'm sure I'm not going to be pleased with it. I mean, like I said, I don't really like it to start with. I prefer a more natural looking highlight, and so that's the way I do my Marines. Hang on a second, now I'll go grab a finished one. Right, so these guys are painted just like I just described. Gray primer, Caliban green base coat, a Nuln oil wash, first highlight Caliban green, which is basically everything except for the recesses, and then second highlight with Warpstone Glow. I typically thin the Warpstone considerably until it's really translucent, and then use that to highlight. And so I had rambled on longer than I anticipated, and my camera battery had died. But back now, the effect is quite subtle, but to my eye at least, and I'm the only one who counts since they're mine, and I'm playing with them. But to my eye, it's pretty nice. I like doing it this way rather than with the edge highlights. So that's about it for now. I don't have a whole lot else going on. The next thing I want to try to learn, painting wise, and some of you may say there's a whole lot I need to learn yet, but anyway, the next thing I want to work on for myself is source lighting. I've seen a few pictures and images and whatnot of of glowing effects from candles or lamps, or even the the tops of these plasma weapons casting a bluish hue around the area. And I think it's very neat looking. I don't know how to do that. I want to try to learn how to do it and start putting that into practice. So if anybody knows of any good sources of information for that type of painting, put them in the comments below, and I'll be sure and check it out. So that's it for now. Take care all. Cheers.